Welcome to another Indie Dev Showcase, highlighting the many indie games we play here on the channel. If you'd like to submit a game for a future video, please reach out. But otherwise, let's begin. We are starting things off with Rebellion Corp. This is a kind of tower defense slash, I guess, management-esque game. We have been sent to gather resources with our crew of miscellaneous agents and a variety of machines, towers, and resource collectors. The twist of this is that instead of choosing like a grand campaign or kind of a story progression, the entire game is about choosing which missions to go on, what objectives to go after, and then seeing you can complete them as things escalate. The longer that you stay around in a map, the waves and threat levels of the enemies will go up and up. So you need to decide just how much you're willing to risk in order to complete all your objectives. As you complete maps and missions, you'll gain access to more kind of persistent currencies, more upgrades, which will let you field more towers, upgrade your agent units, and so on and so forth. Now, from the demo that we spent on this one, I really did like what I was seeing in this kind of like meta or persistent progression, as opposed to just pure story. If you are looking for a very like story-driven game, this one is probably not going to be it for you. But I always like when games let me pick and choose just how hard to make a mission and what the rewards I will get for it. So if you're looking for a kind of press your luck tower defense style game, then this is certainly one to at least check out, especially with the demo still available. And now for another bit of strategy, this time in the strategy RPG department with Redemption Reapers. The game's kind of MO here is a Fire Emblem, I guess meets like Game of Thrones, very detailed, bloody, and gritty kind of world. It is up to our crew to save the land from invading evil, and we're going to be doing this one battle at a time, and of course, one turn-based phase at a time as well. The general gameplay of this one, again, follows in a similar suit as the Fire Emblems and that style of strategy RPG. Each turn, you'll decide where to move characters. There is positioning as well as being able to get backstabs, use special abilities, and more. The enemies definitely, at least from what we played during like the early parts of it, fall into kind of basic enemy patterns, as in they're not going to do a damn thing until you move into their attack range. So this allows you to set up the ever popular strat of just kiting one or two enemies at a time, backstab crit damage for the win, and then rinse and repeat. Your crew will eventually grow, allowing you to upgrade them in different ways, equip them with all manner of weapons, armor, and item, and of course, figure out what else is going on in this world. The two main things that kind of stopped me from playing this. The game did feel a little bit slow to play, and you're going to have to kind of get used to the more like classic style of SRPG design. And while we were playing it, I didn't see anything that kind of stood out or above and beyond from the Fire Emblem games. There are of course complaints on the store page that the price tag for this one is on the higher side. It is still priced at $50 at the time of me making this video, so that may be a little much if you're looking for a strategy RPG. But this one at least had a good foundation to it. And for anyone who did play through it all the way, I'm curious what you thought of it. Let me know in the comments down below. But if you are a fan of strategy RPGs and need a good Fire Emblem minus the dating sim angle in your life, then this one may be worth to keep an eye out for when it goes on sale. And now we switch to something that is definitely not going to be strategic, and that is Halls of Torment. This is being shown while it's in early access and may not represent the current version of it. But we have, while it may look like a Diablo-like, for very obvious reasons, this is kind of like the newest generation of what we see from the Bullet Heaven, VS Legs, and all that. In this one, we must survive, once again, waves and waves of enemies of all shapes, sizes, and means of killing us. But instead of spending this just getting different weapons, you're also looking for gear, and equipment in this game can become persistent, as you can carry or take them back with you after a run is over to then have that available for your next run. Completing challenges, objectives, bonus, achievements, and all that will unlock permanent boosts, either to a specific class, or unlock new features for it, or a brand new one as well. Beating a map will enable you to go to like the next one, which raises all the enemy stats and makes it harder, but grants you more rewards, more features, and it kind of goes for more on the roguelite side of things. So you're not so much necessarily unlocking tons and tons of meta secrets and stuff like that, but instead you're getting more gear to let you do more levels, to let you get more gear, and ARPG core gameplay loop for the win. I do like this one. I'm also enjoying Death Must Die, and what this game does pretty well, like with a lot of these more recent entries, that gives you a lot of ways of playing it. Each class has access to its own unique perks, own unique challenges, and of course specific gear that you can find. If you are not completely tired of the VS formula, this is an easy recommendation. If you're looking for one of those games that has a little bit more meat to its skeletal bones compared to some of the other ones we've shown off, then I would at least give this one a check, and especially an easy recommendation for this as well as Death Must Die. And now we go to Million Monster Militia. The footage you're seeing is taken from early access and may not represent the current version of it. Unfortunately for us, monsters have invaded all 50 of the United States, and in order to save America from evil, we must assemble a militia of all the usual heroes to save the day, including game designers, librarians, miscellaneous slimes, dragons, vampires, zombies, skeletons, and many other things that we all know about. The game here is built on kind of like an auto-battler style system. Every turn you're able to choose to add a different character to your militia. Every character, or every class of character, has all kinds of unique properties to them. They can synergize or affect other characters in your team. If a zombie goes next to a human, they may turn into a zombie. You may have another character that gains more damage per zombies on the field. You could have dynamite that could blow up and do damage. And as you play, you'll be able to choose more and more. And the goal of Million Monster Militia is to build a squad that can deal with the ever-increasing amounts of damage and health the enemies can do. This is not a tactical-minded game. There is no amount of special abilities or things that you have at your disposal to kind of turn the odds. Instead, it kind of becomes more of an optimization puzzle. How do I squeeze the most damage out of my militia? And as you start filling up your roster, you'll need to decide who to keep, who to get rid of. Do you want items on your militia that can be used or consumed? Characters who may eat or get rid of other ones become stronger? And it has this kind of like deck building style vibe to it. Now, the game has been updated several times since going to early access, and I have not played the latest version of it. But if you're looking for a kind of more thinking man style of an auto battler, then this one should at least be on your list to check out. And now we have Hell of an Office, a speed-running, super precision platforming style game. In order to escape from the office from hell, quite literally, we are going to have to jump, run, dash, and do all manner of platforming and avoiding obstacles in order to get out one level at a time. Using the power of your stapler, you are able to kind of launch yourself in the air, you'll be able to gain access to a dash, and of course try to get through these levels as quickly as you can, as more things are introduced along the way. Now, with this one, it can be a little finicky with the physics. You have to really build a momentum for a lot of your dash and jumps to actually make do, and this one is definitely aimed on the harder side. So if you did not enjoy like the speedrunners from hell or that style of first-person platforming, then this one is most likely not going to work for you. But if you are looking for another very speedrun friendly platforming game, then you should at least give this one a check and see if you can run through it. For the last game of our showcase this week, we turn to legendary Hoplite. The footage that you are seeing is taken from kind of an advanced build that was sent to me, but the game was released just around the time of this video going up. This is a kind of tower defense slash RPG kind of game. When evil forces are invading Greece, it's up to us, the power of the gods, and throwing lots and lots of spears in order to defend the cities from evil. In this one, you have kind of two resources, a kind of mana bar or special skill bar, and then a currency that you can use to summon additional soldiers to help you, put items on the field, etc, etc. It's your job to hold out against waves and waves of enemies. As you win maps, you will be able to apply the currency or the rewards you get, either in the form of new equipment, and the equipment I believe is randomly generated, as well as being able to unlock additional skills, additional things you can build, or raise the ones that you've already had and give them more utility and functionality. The game kind of reminds me in a way of something like, I think it was a Gem Force, or some of those, or even like Defender's Quest, in that there is this kind of RPG layer that's going to really dictate whether or not you have a chance at winning. And this can be a sore point for people playing, because you will need to grind in order to get enough gear, to get enough levels, to kind of have a chance against the harder enemy waves. Because again, you can only throw so many spears or summon so many units at a time. But if you do enjoy this kind of like tower defense meets RPG progression style of gameplay, then you should at least give this one a check and see if it will work for you. And with that, we're going to wrap up the showcase here. Again, if you'd like me to play your game for a future video and stream, please reach out, and we'll be back next time for even more indie games. That's going to do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to do the YouTubing stuff people tell you to do. If you're interested in more of my thoughts on design, check out my books wherever they are sold. Visit our Discord and Patreon, and come back for daily discussions on game design here, and on game wisdom, where some of the art and science of games.